clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record.
Okay, here we go. How is everybody? Hello, Taterbug. Hello, Tanya. Audrey. Karina. Debbie Martin. Haven't seen you in a minute. Debbie. Tater. And who else did I miss? Beach Hansons. Hello. Hello. Anyone I missed? Dark Side. Sorry. Tanya. Hello, everybody. Going to talk about once more the implosion of Aidan Kearney, thanks to his ex, Meredith O'Neil, exposing the whole Karen Reed innocence fraud machine. Going to talk about Meredith O'Neil exposing the relationship and how it works between Jess Machado and Aidan Kearney today. And will I lose more friends later on in the show? Will I dare to talk about this new campaign for the state's witnesses? I don't know. Will I have the courage to talk about it today? I hope so. I hope so. It's so hard to be on this side. It's so hard to be on this side, I tell you, guys. It's just like we have a completely ineffectual campaign going for the state's witnesses in this case. Congrats to them for raising so much money so quickly. I'll give them that for sure. But so much wrong with the way it's being put out and the talking points. And oh my law, it's just like one headache after the next. So let's start with, let's get in right with Meredith O'Neil. So this is Aidan Kearney's ex-girlfriend. He met her when he was in jail. And this is from a blog from Innocence Fraud Watch, who's just been turning out amazing blogs one after the next. The links are always in the description of this episode if you want to go check out these most excellent blogs. I like to subscribe to this blog because then it's in my, my email. So every time Innocence Fraud Watch writes a new blog, I get like a little notification. Meredith O'Neil exposes twisted reciprocal relationship and fraud of con artist Aidan Turtleboy Kearney and Jessica Machado. The following was posted on X by Meredith O'Neil on December 1st, 2025. Fake journalists. A quick reminder about the journalistic integrity, quote unquote, of this entire circus. Last year, Aidan literally made a fake Twitter account of journalist David Linton. So this is like really interesting to me. Like this is how so many innocence fraud campaigns are run. There's like a million sock puppet accounts and fake accounts that all support the innocence fraud narrative, and they seem to share some of these accounts. They just make endless phony accounts. He's still so that if someone speaks up about on this side, then, they'll just sick all these accounts on you and make it feel like you're really unreasonable to have this extremely reasonable opinion that Karen Reed ran over John O'Keefe with her, or ran into him, clipped him with her SUV, 6,000-pound SUV, going at a rate of 74.5 throttle and up to speeds of 24 miles per hour in reverse, and then left him to die in the cold in a blizzard. So if you have that rational, reasonable opinion, all of Free Karen Read will come at you with their phony accounts. So, okay. Quick reminder about the journalistic integrity of this entire circus. Last year, Aidan literally made a fake Twitter account of journalist David Linton. Why? To use in his article. He stole the man's photo, got hit with a copyright warning from the newspaper, and instead of stopping, he sat right next to me and created another fake profile to link in his blog. He must have forgotten I was next to him when he did this, because he tweeted at me just last week from this David Linton 69 account. Can't cover up. And these people want to talk about fake journalism, please. Now let's talk about fake journalist Jessica Machado, the queen of imaginary sources. Back on September 29th, she invented an entire fairy tale about a quote-unquote source calling her with the Olivia Joe Flipperhead recording when the source was literally Aidan. Yes, bestie, he told me. Made up elaborate stories about speaking with sources. She even patted herself on the back about how she spent all day authenticating the audio. Girl, authenticating what? You got it directly from the man you're covering for. This is what they do. They make up fake sources, lie to their audience, then repeat each other's nonsense until people think it's real. And then on October 3rd, she tried the same stunt to get the full Karen recording. Aidan was gearing up to send it until the same "I'll leak it through Jess with a fake source" strategy, and I spotted it from a mile away. I told him, don't do it. Don't send it. Don't trust her. Not to protect her, to protect him, because he was out on bail and still holding on to a recording he should never have made. Sound familiar? Kind of like the Karen Read recording when he wiretapped her without her knowledge or consent. This is their whole playbook. Fake sources, fake narratives, fake outrage, and then they're all parrot each other's lies like gospel. No wonder they flock together. It's a bunch of fake journalists doing bad improv and calling it reporting. So last year, Aidan literally made a fake Twitter account of journalist David Linton. Why? To use in his article. So there's the actual tweet. So pretty interesting. I mean, that's very similar to how national innocence fraud campaigns work. They get experts to throw out a fake narrative, and then they get other people to comment on the things that the fake narrative that the person just threw out. So this is not uncommon, but it is extremely unethical. Just lying to your audience. Also, let's see. This I thought was an interesting blog by Innocence Fraud Watch. Meredith O'Neil demonstrates, this is something I was talking about yesterday, just the lack of self-awareness of the witnesses, the people on both sides of this innocence fraud campaign by psychopathic murderer Karen Read and her flying monkeys. She has no self-awareness and appears to subconsciously know all about psychopath Aidan Turtleboy Kearney's innocence fraud, gravy train scam, and witness intimidation, and that off-duty Boston police officer John O'Keefe was killed by psychopath Karen Read. So here's Aidan talking about it. This is very telling, calling Karen Read a psychopath. Take a listen.
Come back to me.
And
but
maybe
she's talking the bad.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No, not maybe. Yes, I'm telling you. Yes. Not even kind of like, yes.
And then she tells me it's fucking weird. So I went on Billy Bush and I'm like, I go, he asked me if we were friends, and I said no. And then Karen rage texts me and says, why are you telling Billy Bush we're not friends? And I'm like, I go, yeah, she's a fucking delusional psychopath. All she cares about is her reputation, and all she talks about is herself. Me. I'm over here. I got facing 105 years in jail, and all this bitch does is talk about her fucking self. You two deserve each other. Karen and fucking Meredith deserve each other at this point. I hope they live happily fucking ever after. Just hope neither of them, drives. But anyway, let's say no, we haven't even got to. No, Karen didn't hit John. To be very clear about that, but
joke, little trial here.
Little trial here.
Yeah, calm down.
Let's try
Get Meredith,
and
but
maybe
she's calling. Come back to me.
So Aidan Kearney, I just moved that back. Sorry, I'll move it forward here. Knows that Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe with her car. He knows he's been putting out a fake, phony narrative. He knows what really happened. He knows she's guilty. And he knows that her personality is one of a psychopath. Strangely, we came to the Aidan Kearney and I came to the same conclusion. Because Aidan Kearney probably knows he's a psychopath, and one psychopath sees another. And they're in business in a symbiotic, what did he call it? What did Brennan call it? A symbiotic relationship? I would call it like more of like a leech and its host. I mean, I don't know. Both. I mean, just like each, gaining off of the lies the other one is putting off. Aidan Kearney gets a benefit from Karen Reed's celebrity, her murderer celebrity. And he gets also all the scoops right from the defense team. And they decide how to play this out. I mean, the fact that there really is no innocence fraud campaign, if you have to, that's real. You know what I mean? Like, if you are innocent, you don't need to propagandize the whole world. You just need to bring your evidence and show up in court. But if you're really guilty, then you need to propagandize the whole world with a whole bunch of lies and conspiracy theories. And people like Aidan Kearney are really helpful. Experts like Elizabeth Loftus, I don't know. I mean, I could go on forever. Ex-FBI people like Steve Moore, all been used in innocence fraud campaigns.
Talk about her fucking self. You two deserve each other. Karen and fucking Meredith deserve each other at this point. I hope they live happily fucking ever after. Just hope neither of them, drives. But anyway,
you see, then he knows he messed up. I mean, it's just a Freudian slip there. He's like, oh no, it's just a little trial humor. No, he knows. I mean, it's called innocence fraud. Aidan Kearney wasn't duped by Karen. He knew this was a fraud. He knew he could benefit from it, and he got on it, just like the jury foreman. These people know these people are guilty. It's not like these people are getting duped. I'm not saying some of the public isn't getting duped, but people who are running these campaigns, the lawyers, the flying monkeys for these psychopathic murderers know that these people are guilty. The following was posted on X by Meredith O'Neil on November 28th, 2025. And our press is so complicit and compliant and so happy to push an innocence fraud narrative over to the public. Just absolutely, it's a real breakdown in our press. Before Aidan goes live tonight to tell everyone, let's get one thing straight. He's only going to share whatever cherry-picked moments and half-truths to make his narrative look good. That's his entire formula. So that's how he did with Karen Reed. He cherry-picked moments and half-truths to make psychopathic murderer Karen Reed's narrative look good. It's his entire formula, and he's counting on people not noticing the parts he conveniently leaves out. Now ask yourself this, does anyone else realize how insane it is that we've reached a point where it's considered normal to openly call Karen Reed a see you next Tuesday on the regular without a second thought or pushback? And anyone that dares to defend her is immediately attacked. This is the same woman we all spent 2 years defending, protesting for, and pouring our time and money into because we believed in her. No. You guys just hated the cops. You wanted something to do. You wanted to see a criminal get over and give the middle finger to the justice system. And that's what happened. And give a big middle finger to the O'Keefe family and the Commonwealth. I can't believe that this was because everyone loved Karen so much. I never got that I never thought that was the crux of the free killer Karen Read movement. The views, the donations, the merch, media deals, she was his golden goose. You are correct, Meredith. And now he's treating her like disposable content the moment it benefits him. Right, because he can do it without her now. He doesn't need, it's all out there in the public domain mostly. He doesn't need her scoops, and he'll get scoops from his audience. And now he's treating her like disposable content the moment it benefits him. I mean, I'm just not buying that. I mean, if Meredith O'Neil is saying that Karen Read's been done badly by Aidan Kearney, I don't think so. She knew what she was getting into. She knew the kind of person she was dealing with. And she said Aidan's a risk, but she's going to do it because she knew that was her ticket out, to propagandize the jury pool, to propagandize the entire world. That's the way to get out. She couldn't win in court. Just because, so she had to put pressure from the outside into court. Just because he says so, because his feelings were hurt, because she's fed up with the damage he's done and wants nothing to do with him. Can you blame her? A lot of people had ignored that little voice inside their head telling them something wasn't right, that Karen isn't this evil person he's making her out to be. No, I think Aidan Kearney's just done hiding Karen Read's psychopathic behavior, aka their conscience. Well, Karen Read doesn't have a conscience. Aidan Kearney doesn't have a conscience. And I'm not so sure about Meredith O'Neil either. Why? Because they were intimidated into silence, because they were threatened, because speaking up meant getting mocked, attacked, or having their lives blown up. That ends today. And this whole storyline he keeps pushing, that he stayed silent about Karen for so long, is absolute BS. He hasn't stayed silent. He's been slowly priming his audience against her for months. Dropping little hints, planting doubts, testing reactions. Well, before the Howard Carr show, that's the only reason he secretly recorded her in the first place, not for truth, not for justice, but to stockpile ammunition to use later when it benefited him. He recorded her so he could weaponize her. Right, of course. That's why he records anyone, so he can weaponize it later. Records himself, same reason. I think Karen Read does the same thing. I mean, why did Karen Read... She had to, monitor John O'Keefe at all times. She had to keep an eye on her victim, to keep power and control over him. It's a lot of power and control. If you have some audio people that they might not want out. I'm not done letting him manipulate an audience that trusted him. Oh, okay. So now this is Meredith O'Neil white knighting for herself. I'm done protecting someone who never had a problem stockpiling receipts to use against every single person in his orbit. I'm about to start dropping everything, buckle up. And before anyone tries to spin this as me starting drama, let's be clear. Much like he's done to Karen, Aidan has been bad-mouthing me behind the scenes for months and directing other creators to come after me. That's how he operates, so that he can play the perpetual victim. That was very clear from his live stream. He was going to play the victim with Meredith. I never felt the way. I had to call her 200 times in a day because it wasn't because I was being abusive. It's because I just was so into her. Okay, you can be really into someone, but once you call someone 200 times, that's abusive. You're into crazy territory. You're into dominance territory and abusive territory. He's the one who put out videos about me first this weekend through Chelsea, of all people. I've kept my mouth shut while he ran his little whisper campaign. I'm only speaking now because I'm done being his punching bag. Did it ever occur to you that you've heard one side of the story that's been carefully crafted so someone else can play the victim? That you haven't heard the other things this alleged victim has done to Karen behind the scenes for the last 2 years, things that caused her disassociation? Oh, come on. Karen Read's not experiencing disassociation. This is a thing they do with psychopaths. Their PTSD, anything besides their psychopathy. I think you will soon. Their PTSD, their autism. What else do you want to call psychopathy? Autism, PTSD. Oh, yeah. Those are some key ones. Borderline personality. Bipolar personality disorder. Meredith O'Neil on Facebook account myth. Hacked Facebook account myth. Let's discuss this ridiculous claim that I hacked Aidan's Facebook account because the only thing he's hacking at this point is reality. Here are the actual facts. The account he's talking about was mine. I created it in 2018 when my main Facebook was briefly suspended. The name was Alanka Cohen. I can't recall how I came up with that name, but that's besides the point. That's not speculation, that's documented. In June 2024, see, this is enough. So she gets kicked off of Facebook and then she creates a fake name. So her shit behavior gets her briefly suspended and then she's back with a burner account. In June 2024, we used that account together to request access to anti-Karen Reed groups. Okay? See, this is a really important detail. Is they really study the personalities on this side of the fence. Right? And it was really pretty, I mean, they made it pretty easy with Kevin Lenahan. I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, it's a joke, you know. I mean, pushed a murderer on his, had a murderer on his show as a freaking, from prison, hosted him from prison. And he wants to talk about, he wants to be the leading the torch for what's right and good in this world. Come on. So immature, I know, but YOLO, I gave him the password. From that point forward, it was a shared account used as a functional tool, not anyone's personal Facebook. So my point is that they studied the talking points, the arguments on this side of the fence, and they made their side stronger. What happens on this side is that when we get criticism, we don't listen. It's really important to listen. How am I being perceived? How is this being perceived? How is this going over? And instead, people just get really narcissistic and say, well, Aidan Kearney doesn't know what he's talking about, or they don't know. But you can learn a lot from your enemies. He had a full access. I had full access, no secrets, no boundaries, no warnings, no don't log in, nothing. Fast forward to April 2025, when his Clarence Wood Emerson account got suspended. I told him he could try switching the name on my account to use it since Facebook wasn't letting him make new ones. He never changed the password. He never told me to stay out. He knew I was still using it. In fact, we literally had conversations about posts I saw in Sean's group where I'm banned on my main account. He wanted the information I was pulling from that account. This was a business account, not his diary. He has a separate personal account to this day. About a month after our breakup in August 2025, he asked if I still wanted the account. I said, it's technically mine, but he could have it because I only ever used it to look at groups. I don't even think I'd gone out. I don't even think I'd gone on out at all post breakup. Okay, another weird sentence, but okay. As I was trying to tune out the whole free Karen Reed world, I logged out on my phone, but here's how Facebook works. To actually remove a device, he had to log me out from his end, see the leaked figure it out, boomer texts. He claims he did, yet I keep getting emails from the account, meaning he obviously didn't. I told him multiple times I didn't want the account anymore. I wanted space. I wanted peace. But he kept dragging it out and badgering me about it like it was his favorite news excuse to message me. October 2025, now he's accusing me of hacking him and leaking the illegal recordings he made of his call with Karen on August 29th. Let's pause here. If he never shared the recording, then why is it on Facebook? Magic? Telepathy? Karen posted it herself? He can't answer that. So instead, he made up a villain. His own screenshot he's been pushing out through the Ratchet Brigade shows the last login was August 26th, which again, I wasn't using it, but he hadn't manually logged me out like I begged him to. The call with Karen happened August 29th. He can't provide a shred of proof I logged in anytime after August 26th because I didn't. I removed that account from my app long before that. The entire storyline is nothing but deflection from a man who refuses to take accountability for the fact that he is the one who illegally recorded a woman he spent 2 years calling a hero, but he knew she wasn't a hero. He knew she was a psychopathic murderer. But sure, blame the ex-girlfriend who gave you the password in 2024 and didn't want the account anymore. It's predictable, pathetic, and exactly why I stopped protecting him. Okay? If you're wondering why Aidan is suddenly inventing a Facebook hack storyline, it's the same reason he's spinning every other lie right now. He's run out of people to blame for the mess he created. This is his pattern. Step 1, do something shady. Step 2, get caught or cornered. Step 3, pick a scapegoat. Step 4, rewrite the story until he looks like the victim of his own actions. He's done it to friends, other content creators, to supporters, his own family, business associates, to people who donated to him for years, to Karen, and now to me. The hack accusation is just the latest chapter of the same script. Because once people start asking real questions, like why he secretly recorded Karen, why he had it saved, why it conveniently ended up on Facebook, why he's been planting seeds against her for months, he needs a distraction. He needs someone to point at, sort of like Karen Reed. And why she was looking to involve Michael Camerano first and Catherine Camerano, but they were not available to her, so she called Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts and weave them into her murder as characters, because otherwise, had she not called them to be an audience for her, as she, quote unquote, acted like she discovered John O'Keefe when she knew where he was altogether, when she led Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts right to the scene where she had run over John O'Keefe. She needed other people to call 911 so she didn't have to make that call. Look at Carrie Roberts' behavior, look at Jen McCabe's behavior, but don't look at my behavior. And here's Aidan Kearney operating this same exact way. And since I'm the one person who knows the real timeline, the conversations, the recordings, the behavior, the manipulation behind the scenes, suddenly I'm the villain of this story. It's textbook deflection. He can't show proof I hacked anything because I didn't. He can't show proof I leaked anything because I didn't. He can't show proof I logged in the day of the call because I didn't. But he can rely on the fact that some people will believe anything if he says it loud enough and often enough. The difference now, I'm done staying quiet while he rewrites history and weaponizes lies to protect himself. I'm not afraid of the truth coming out. He is. Since pointing out earlier, a lot of people have asked whether there's more, whether Aidan said worse things about Karen, me, others, whether there was additional recordings, screenshots, or conversations that I haven't revealed yet. The answer is yes, there is more, a lot more. And let me be very clear. I'm not interested in a prolonged public war. I don't want to keep dropping receipts. I don't want to keep exposing the things he said and did behind closed doors. I don't want to expose the other people he illegally wiretapped or harmed. But that depends entirely on him and what he decides to do tonight. The more lies, the more I'll continue to defend myself. And if he continues doing what he's been doing, lying, smearing, rewriting history, manipulating his audience, or inventing news stories about me, then he'll leave me no choice but to respond with the truth. In his words, it's not a threat. I'm not escalating this. I'm responding to his behavior. The moment he stops weaponizing lies, this stops. And if he keeps going, I will match every lie with a fact. And unlike him, I have no reason to make anything up. I know a lot of you are messaging me about whatever Aidan is saying on his stream tonight. I'll be honest, I will listen to it at some point, but definitely not tonight. I'd rather throw it on 2 times speed during my Peloton ride tomorrow than waste an entire evening listening to him drag out a storyline he created. That's really the only way I can tolerate his show at this point, which is said, I think she means sad, because it used to be hilarious and witty, not overly recycled rants. My friends are texting me the highlights anyway. Sounds like a bust. Personally, I'm more interested in whether the gaslighting grifters will continue to lie their butts off when they come in for damage control. I'm going to bet yes, but Jess will come in and trash Karen more. They're painfully predictable. And from what I'm hearing, he's posting selective texts from different points in time, but conveniently skipping the full context, which is exactly what he's been doing behind the scenes for months. I'll make a judgment call tomorrow on what, if anything, is worth addressing and what receipts need to be posted to just shut down the fake victim narrative once and for all. I genuinely appreciate everyone's support these last few days. This is a situation I tried really hard to prevent, and your messages mean more than you know. As for what comes next, maybe we'll do another Truth Spaces tomorrow or Sunday, to be determined. And everyone standing with me and with Karen, you're on the right side of this. No, you're not. You're on the wrong side. You're on the psychopathic murderer side. So she wants to stay on team killer, team criminal, but she doesn't want any of the team criminal tactics used on her. I have no doubt Karen appreciates every bit of support she's getting right now. So, yeah, once you're involved with, like, you know, a psychopath like Aidan Kearney and a campaign for a psychopathic murderer, she just wants to keep the fun parts going. So that's a little bit of that. It can go on. I mean, she's tried to debunk so many stories on there. I mean, maybe we can do some more tomorrow. But that's about what I can take of Aidan Kearney and Meredith O'Neil right now. How's everybody else doing? I don't know where he is. Tina Lucille, that's a great question. Okay. All right. What are we going to talk about next? So, yeah, I mean, you know, that's what happens when you get involved in an innocence fraud campaign for a guilty murderer. And any murderer that needs or accused murderer that needs an innocence fraud campaign has got to be pretty guilty. Otherwise, you would just argue it in court. You wouldn't need to propagandize the world. So now we have on opposite side, on this side of the fence. Well, this is going to win me no friends, but it's got to be done. This is why we lose with content like this. And so this is from Tuesday Gazette and the creators behind that horrible website, Defending the Truth, which is really more about the people that created the website than the actual harassed victims. And it seems to not understand why they were harassed or exactly what went wrong. They're blaming the justice system. There's nothing wrong with our justice system. That's not what went wrong here. What went wrong was we had a innocence fraud, a literal fraud done by Karen Reed and her lying lawyers and flying monkeys on our justice system. So I don't think that it's not something that you can prevent by changing anything in our justice system. You have to, unless that we're going to start calling out these lawyers. I mean, this is one of the most scary, shocking moments of the Karen Reed hearings was when Karen Reed's ARCA witnesses got called out for lying under oath in the first trial, saying that they weren't paid. The whole way they were presented to the audience was totally, to the jury, and the American public and the world audience, was that they were neutral witnesses hired by the federal government. and that they could have been used on either side. However, Adam Lowley, in a really excellent cross, pointed out that the ARCA witnesses only took information from the defense, never asked the Commonwealth for any information for their tests. It shows an extreme bias that they're trying to get to a certain result by limiting the kind of data that goes into their testing. But here they were saying that they weren't being paid by the defense. And when they were, they got paid quite a handsome sum. Then they were deleting their text messages and just sandbagging, getting rid of discovery, not handing over any discovery, talking on encrypted apps. And they got called out by Judge Kearney for their lack of candor to the court, which is a nice way of saying lying to the court. Karen Reed's lawyers lied to the court. Where have we seen them face any kind of issues besides those ineffectual voir dires that were their punishment, like the Briar Rabbit story, born and raised in a briar patch? That's what that was like, as far as punishment goes. So let's take a look at the way they're presenting this case for the witnesses. This is live done on... I have a lot to say about it. None of it's going to make me popular, but please or offend, I just gotta tell the truth. Because this is how we lose this stuff.
All right, guys. Okay, I thought we were running into a problem and we didn't. So now I have to send this link to the girls again. Give me 1 second.
To the girls. To the girls. These are grown-ass women here. Really? The girls? Really? The girls? You're going to demean yourself with that?
Let me text her.
All right.
So it takes a little while for them to
really
get the band
fair.
all together. It takes them a little while to get the band all together. So here, the band's all together.
Would even have that type of information, but she sold it to them. They were convinced the feds were coming any day.
You guys, I don't think anyone can hear us.
No, we can all hear you. We can all hear you. Someone punking them in the chat, like, we can't hear you. But yeah, I still get messages from Karen Reed supporters thinking the feds are coming any minute. That's not over with Karen Reed. They still think the feds are coming in any minute. It's just what Innocence Fraud campaigns put out. They put out just different carrots so that the gullible followers will always think that there's something exciting is happening next. It's about to happen any minute. You want to be on this side when it does, right?
I don't.
Can you guys hear us?
No, I don't even think everyone's like saying in the chat.
My mute button here. Can you guys hear me now? Wait. So could you guys not hear me before?
Oh, they can hear now.
Oh, they can hear. Oh, all right. So you got to start over.
You've got to start over.
No, wait. Does she have to start over, or did you guys hear her the whole time?
We heard her, but no one else heard her.
No, they're saying they could hear her the whole time.
Oh, they could?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
I'm getting a bunch of texts. People are asking why we're not live.
Are they
okay? So
they're probably in the old one.
Lydia said they could hear us the whole time. I don't understand what's going on. There might be 2 videos.
I think that might be it. I'm getting a lot of texts saying.
Okay, so I know crap happens like when you go live. I get it. But this isn't a great look. It's not a great look. Like, why doesn't anyone know where we are? Are we talking? Do people hear us? Does anyone hear what we're going to say? Just get to the point. I want to hear about the harassed witnesses. I want to hear what you're going to do about psychopathic murderer Karen Reed and her Innocence Fraud campaign. Let's get into that.
Why haven't we gone on? Is everything okay?
I wonder if they're in the old link.
Yeah, they're in the old link.
Okay.
We need to put it in
They're
that
in the
chat.
old link. Okay, so pull out of that YouTube. I didn't realize that it had a brand new actual link.
No, I think the Netflix documentary is going to be a massive failure. Because nobody wants to talk about Karen Reed's abuse of John O'Keefe. No one wants to talk about Karen Reed's personality. They all think like, well, if we just explain the text stream data to people, they'll get it. There's so much information in this case that has not been put out in the public domain. You're friends with the witnesses. Get them to put out their text messages. Put it all out there, guys. That's something that could be effective. If they have anything, put it out there in the public domain.
Can you text the link?
I mean, it took like, what does it take? Like 4 years before we ever heard that Karen Reed spent Christmas alone? Her last Christmas with John O'Keefe, she spent alone in her home in Mansfield. It's a highly significant detail. Their relationship was at such a crisis point. Long before Aruba. We're going back to their vacation in Florida. They're having issues.
Can
to me, and I'll try to put it in there.
And the reason they're having issues is because Karen Reed demands absolute dominance and control over John O'Keefe. She demands pictures, that he sent her pictures to show to prove where he is. Even when he's just out with one of his oldest friends, Brendan Kane. Seriously? She kept nonstop eye on her victim. But let's talk about the text stream data some more, right? That'll really win the hearts and minds of people.
Okay, I'm just going to continue while.
Yeah. All right. They're going to
figure
try to
that out.
get everyone over to the new link. They said.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what was I saying? So, as we're talking about how Karen's team and her allies applauded kind of this nasty.
Why are they calling her Karen's team? I like to call her the psychopathic murderer. That's how I like to refer to her. The killer's team. What is this reverence for Karen Reed on this side of the fence? I don't get it. Karen's team, her team of... And why would you go on camera, Jams, with a picture of Karen Reed's criminal lawyer behind you? I mean, that's just legitimizing him. So, Tanya, yeah, no, I think the Netflix thing is going to be a disaster, just knowing the people that are behind it. And they've been making excuses for Karen Reed that she was so hysterical that morning, not in the acting hysterical, that she was frantic, not acting frantic. When have we ever seen Karen Reed frantic, acting frantic? She's always immensely in control. And manipulating. I mean, we saw her behavior in the courtroom. But why keep up a picture of Alan Jackson behind you? You want to legitimize that criminal lawyer? That fraudster? Really? Why even have that? Why even have that? I don't even get it. This guy? You want to big up this guy?
Hundreds of legalese, lying by profession. When in doubt, blame the police. When my con gets exposed, I act deaf and dumb. Blame sudden onset amnesia, got the press under my thumb. Drinks with my killer client at Smith and Walensky. Check paid for by fans, my elbow on the killer's knee. I'm a lawyer, a criminal lawyer. Think like a criminal, spout legalese, lying by profession. When in doubt, blame the police. When my con gets exposed, I act deaf and dumb. Blame sudden onset amnesia, got the press under my thumb. Drinks with my killer client at Smith and Walensky. Check paid for by fans, my elbow on the killer's knee.
Okay. So Emily Hampton says, you are so highly critical of these people. She's right, I am. I don't understand. Let me help you understand it. I've been doing this now. I've been fighting innocence fraud campaigns for, I think it's 9 or 10 years now. I want to say 10, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe 9. And I've been studying them for a lot longer than that. But fighting them with this freaking podcast for, I'm going on a decade now. And I'm so wary to see people who, if they want to help, put out the information about the harassment of these witnesses out there. Instead, they put this like website all about like how they support witnesses. Do they support Marie Russell? Do they support Snake in the Grass, Karina Kolakithis? Do they support the ARCA witnesses? It's not clear. They say they want to support witnesses and that something happened to our justice system. Nothing happened to our justice system. What happened was we had lying criminal lawyers come in and stage an innocence fraud campaign to put pressure from the outside onto the inside of our courts. So when you call Karen Reed, Karen, like she's your best friend, like she's your neighbor, that's all helping Karen Reed. So I get frustrated watching people who are similar minds to myself, I guess, help a killer, a psychopathic murderer out because they've bought into the propaganda campaign themselves without even knowing it.
Behavior that was going on. Let me see here. Okay. So attorneys, oh no, I'm going to talk about this too. So people who were silenced, there were many of them. The mob was trying to silence them, anyone who spoke out against the abuse. So we had podcasts.
Yeah, how about, I was silenced by this side. I was just freaking smeared by Kevin Lenahan. Told like, I don't understand, Roberta, it came out of left field. I mean, I just had like a killer on my show like a couple times. I totally ghosted the victim. And I introduced this killer who was calling in from prison as a profiler. But I don't understand why she would criticize me. There was definitely an effort to silence people in the majority and say, no, the text stream data is the way to go. The blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to we're not going to call it an innocence fraud campaign. Now everyone's calling it an innocence fraud campaign. It's all the rage now. But it certainly wasn't in trial 1 and trial 2. And while these people were all saying Karen Reid's going to get convicted tomorrow, I was saying, I don't think so. My fear is she's going to get away with it. Why? Because I know innocence fraud campaigns. I've watched them. I know how convincing they can be.
Pastors, YouTubers who spoke out against the conspiracy narrative. And when they shared their concern about the abuse that the witnesses and victims' families endured by Karen's own cult following, it was rough. People like anchor Julie Grant from Court TV was attacked. Nancy Grace, journalist.
All right. So Julie Grant, thank you, Julie Grant, for having me on. I appreciate it. But Julie Grant, as at one time or another, pushed an innocence fraud narrative. She actually pushed the Karen Reid innocence fraud narrative before she went against it. And Nancy Grace, same thing. So they're part of our complicit and compliant media.
M. Williams Phelps, to name a few. Attorneys who have shared
people who were totally ineffective.
Their opinions that Karen is guilty have also had their businesses maliciously spammed with hate reviews. People from the general public, their children were called vile names and doxxed. The mob wanted everyone to be silenced so that their voice was the only.
Okay, so I've been harassed by the Free Karen Reid people. And it's not the first murderer groupies that I've been harassed by. I've been harassed by the Stephen Avery groupies. I've been harassed by the Amanda Knox groupies. I've been harassed by the Central Park 5 groupies, the Julius Jones groupies, the anti-death penalty groupies, the Richard Gossip groupies, the Marty Tankliff groupies. So I'm quite used to this abuse by murderer groupies and innocence fraudsters. But was there a mass rate of deaths due to hurt feelings? That's what I want to know. I think, it hurts. It's hard. But unless you're going to say it's, taking someone's job, education, we know it did take one person's education, or they dropped out because of the harassment in this case, Colin Albert. But if you want to talk about that, I don't talk about people who are public figures who put themselves up for scrutiny, like Nancy Grace and Julie Grant, because, they get quite well compensated for all that harassment with a nice, big, fat salary check.
And the defense actually utilized this to their own benefit. Never once did I ever hear the defense team or Karen Reid ever speak out against the victim's family being harassed. Did I ever hear the defense team or tell the public that showing up at a child's sporting event to scream killer at a family is not okay? Their silence, you guys, was deafening regarding the abuse.
Why didn't they reach out to me? They won't reach out to me to help because I'm not in the in crowd. And I'm not going to stroke their ego. They want to be told that they're doing great work. I think their impulses are good, but this is not going to work. This is not going to be effective. The thing to do is to have a really effective website that puts out a lot of new information, a lot of minutia too, because that also traps Karen Reid so she doesn't have so many places to go with her narrative. If you put out all the minutia, in this case, that hasn't been put in the public domain. But they won't, because I'm not in the in crowd, and there was actually a strong effort to get people not to listen to me or not to listen to my show. Tanya, do you think this show will help at all? I don't know. I'm trying because I'm so tired of losing. I'm so tired of being on the losing side of this case and seeing psychopathic Karen Reid clean up. because everyone wants to sort of hide behind these kind of like, I'm about truth, I'm about justice, I'm about witnesses, I'm for the underdog. I'm so great, guys. I'm so great. Instead of going after the psychopathic murderer's innocence fraud campaign, go after her talking points, debunk them one by one. That should have been like part one. We should have had, I see some of these like videos that you're making, but they're not on the website. Videos of the witnesses being harassed. Put that stuff out there. That's effective. Put out the facts of the case and show Karen Reed's psychopathic behavior and how she abused John. And all this stuff about she was so jealous. I called that out first trial, called it out second trial. That is, this Bella's mom thing is a fantasy. There is no proof that she ever heard about Bella's mom. I don't know who if because Jen McCabe might have heard it, that she thinks that Karen Reed was listening on speakerphone. There's no evidence of that. And this is what, so this whole thing with jealousy is Karen Reed getting John O'Keefe in a submissive position by accusing him of cheating on her. That's how you get someone, it's what abusers do, to get someone on the back foot, accuse them of something. It's a very street tactic. All right, I don't know how much, let's try to go back to this and we'll try to hit some of the main points here.
And the 40 plus hours of phone calls and the encrypted apps that Karen and her attorneys used to communicate with the blogger who degraded witnesses, push speculations.
Yeah, encrypted apps to talk to witnesses. Supposedly the best witnesses ever, the ARCA witnesses, the most reliable witnesses ever. They're talking on encrypted apps and destroying their emails before pre-trial. Who does that with a client that they know is in court? You know who does? Fraudsters, criminals. That's who gets rid of evidence like that. But I mean, what are they calling Karen Reed and her lawyers? Karen Reed and her band of lying criminal lawyers. Is that what you're talking about, Tuesday Gazette? Is that what you mean?
These sensationalized accusations and baseless rumors. We see you, Alan Jackson, David Yannetti. It's disgraceful, and it's been extremely reckless. The witnesses are saying no more. The legal system needs to get involved. Enough is enough. Conspiracies repeated as fact have real...
The legal system needs to get involved. The legal system just was involved with Karen Reed, and we saw the outcome. Really? Karen Reed's just going from strength to strength. Well, this side hasn't figured her out. Hasn't figured out that she's a psychopathic murderer. Most people think she's just a drunk who had an accident. He's real jealous. Bella's mom. Yeah, Bella's mom. It's Bella's mom's, guys. Guys, it's Bella's mom. She just was so jealous of Bella's mom that she murdered John. That's what happened. Bella's mom. Bella's mom. Oh, so
ramifications. We saw this, you guys, with the Sandy Hook families when Alex Jones pushed a narrative into the public that their own children were never...
Yeah, but did Alex Jones win in court with it? No, he lost in court. Karen Reed pushed a narrative via Turtleboy, via our compliant and complicit press, that the entire world bought. Pretty much. We're the minority. We're the minority who actually know the facts of the case, or some of the facts of the case. A lot of the facts of the case aren't in the public domain. I.e. Richie the plumber. Did he exist? Did he not exist? But it's the last fight Karen and John have. Sure seems relevant that Karen Reed might be making up a plumber situation to delay her from coming out, to make John feel like he's been totally looked over as far as fixing her plumbing issues. Because, of course, John's father was a plumber, is a plumber, excuse me. And John and his father would have fixed her plumbing issues, her hot water issues, her rusty pipe issues for free. But she's going into great detail with all these things that are wrong, and that Richie the plumber puts the toilet seats on crooked. But he does good work, and he'll go into Home Depot, but he'll be back mañana.
Were even real in the first place, let alone that they were executed in school and that the corrupt government was behind the shooting, or the shooting hoax, I should say. The families were not only grieving an unfathomable loss, they were enduring the most horrendous and nonsensical accusations. Other victims of many other tragedies have also endured harassment.
I mean, it does have some elements of innocence fraud. But the point of all the conspiracy theories for Karen Read was to get psychopathic murderer Karen Read off. That's the point. That's the point. Alex Jones was just trying to make money and sell vitamins and get ratings with this stuff. And a lot of other people were too. Not just Alex Jones pushing out this ridiculous conspiracy theory around Sandy Hook. It has some of the elements, but not all of the elements. You'd be better off just staying with the Karen Read story.
One that has come to mind is Shannon Watts, her parents. She was the mother who was murdered by Chris Watts along with...
Oh my God. I mean, no. He pled guilty. No. How about, I know Tuesday Gazette knows a lot about Adnan Syed. There's a fraud upon the court that got him out, Heyman Lee's murderer out. I mean, there's so many innocence fraud campaigns you could talk about. Go peruse my channel. You want to talk about innocence fraud? That's what we're talking about, aren't we? Or are we talking about Sandy Hook and being mean to victims' families, members, because we want to buy a conspiracy, not because we hate the police and we want to see a killer get off, especially a cop killer get off. No, it's just because everyone's just too gullible and buys into a fantasy. Is that what it is?
Her 2 daughters and her unborn baby. This is not a new phenomenon, but it appears to be rapidly growing. The mob behavior in this modern true crime social media sphere. And it's only going to get worse if we don't call it out and stand up for those who need a voice. So this leads me to what and why we're here tonight. We, a group of us, are planning on doing a weekly show on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on this YouTube channel. We're going to call the show the Thursday Night Show. What did we name it?
Truth Matters.
Truth Matters Thursdays. That's right. Thank you, Julie. And then we're going to attempt doing something on the weekends as kind of a unscripted, Truth Matters unscripted. And that's going to be more of just a casual chat. It'll probably be last minute planning, but for sure our Thursday nights are set in stone. And then we'll keep you guys posted on the weekends. And what we're actually planning on doing is not only bringing clarity to a lot.
Yeah, why does she talk so slowly? I get accused sometimes of talking very slowly, so maybe I'm in a glass house when it comes to that. But this is, let's maybe put this on 1.5 and see if we can get through a little bit more of this.
A lot of the misinformation that has gone out there. We are an open book here about the case. We are going to make sure every stone is unturned. We are going to expose the dirty behaviors that we have.
Are you? Good. I'm looking forward to that. Put out Kerry Roberts' text messages, the public domain, to Karen Read. Put them out. Jen McCabe, same thing. Put them all out there.
Seen happen, and we're going to share with you the impacts that these have had on actual people. We are going.
See, also, it's like, seems like there's things that, there's things in everyone's lives that they don't want, exposed in a national, worldwide really trial. But unfortunately, Jen McCabe, Carrie Roberts just put it all out there because Karen Reed already knows and is already going to weaponize it against you. If you have anything you're hiding, put it out there.
To do question and answers, we are going to bring it all, you guys, because unlike Karen, who says sunshine is the best disinfectant, we actually bring the real light here.
Unlike the murderer, unlike the psychopathic cop killer, why are you calling her Karen like she's your best friend? Karen, my neighbor Karen, she's a real Karen. She sometimes yells at the dog. Sometimes I've heard she, set her ex-boyfriend's car on fire, held a knife at another ex-boyfriend. That's Karen. That's my neighbor Karen. She's a bit of a psycho, bit of a psychopath, bit of a killer. Karen Reed, just call her the killer. What are you afraid of getting? Please sue me, Karen Reed. Please sue me for. I'd be so happy.
She's bringing artificial light, one that casts a lot of shadows and allows a lot of details to get hidden. And we're not going to do that because there's nothing to hide. The witnesses welcome being deposed in court, and this is all going to be hit head on. So with that said, I haven't actually shared the biggest fun part of our surprise. I am going to actually pass on to Carrie to share with us what the fun news is.
Okay. Hey, guys. So like Tuesday said, we have a lot to talk about. And honestly, the most exciting announcement that we have is...
Carrie. Hey, Carrie. Can't wait for this exciting announcement.
Is what we need to share, what I'm going to share with you guys right now. So for months, y'all have heard one side of the story dominating the conversation. And the people who were actually dragged into this mess, the people who lived it, haven't had the opportunity.
Yeah, I've heard one side. I've heard Karen Reed's side. Then I've heard on this side, text stream data, Bella's mom, jealousy, drunken accident, all talking points that help Karen Reed. Just strive forward.
Opportunity to speak for themselves. That's about to change. We're thrilled to announce that in our upcoming episodes, we'll be joined by some truly special guests, some who haven't been able to share their perspectives publicly. Carrie Roberts will be joining us. Chris Albert will be joining us. Brendan Kane will be joining us. John Jackson will be joining us. A lot more of Don's friends will be joining us. And even more special guests are lined up that we can't wait to introduce to you. I think the most important thing to remember with all the witnesses, Don's friends, Don's family, these are real people, not the characters they've been turned into online or the villains they've actually been turned into online. And our goal is just to give them a fair place to talk, to decompress, and to correct the record if they want to, and to finally be seen as human beings. And we're so grateful that they trust all of us to do that, because this is a really big deal for them to come on and finally be seen. So that was our big announcement. We're really excited for that. And now I think Julie's going to maybe catch us up to date.
I'll talk about, did we do the donation stuff too?
Oh yeah. And for the donations, they know I'm going to get this wrong, but I think what we're going to do is instead of
that, they do need some congratulations, though. This they did really well. They raised a lot of money very quickly, and they did that really well. I have no criticism of the money they raised and how fast. That is very impressive.
Letting YouTube, I think they take a part of the money, with the super chats and all that sort of stuff. So we would rather that you guys go and donate to the Witnesses Fund for their legal representation. The link's right on the bottom. And if you come back and let us know, or put your YouTube name and you have a question, we'll read out the question during the show. Right, guys?
Yeah. And as we...
Okay. So is that their version of Turtle Chat? The Pabs, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Carmel O'Reilly, thanks for the super sticker. I don't know. I think they need to, what I'm really worried about is just the website is so poor. More than, I think that's going to have more of an effect than their shows. But I'm just looking at the way that they're talking about the case. And, they have to come at it hard. They have to come at it hard. She's really propagandized the whole world into thinking that she's a victim. So enough of this Karen and her lawyers stuff. It's the killer and her criminal lawyers.
So we clearly have no idea what we're doing right now. I know someone said we're in the wrong video mode. I don't even know what that means. Short form, live.
Oh, really?
I don't even know what that means.
This is so embarrassing.
Well, I think it shows that we are rookies in this, and we are not out there for attention-seeking purposes. This is something that we've almost had to drag our feet on because we want to show our support.
Really? Because it comes off a little attention-seeking. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just the way that, let's look at this website, okay, right? Hold on one second. Went over this last night, but it really just needs to, let's look at it again. Hold on one second. Oh, yeah. I just show you my concerns. All right. So if I go to this, here we go. So join the witnesses from the Karen Read trial. Testify. Over the past few years, many have asked how they can support witnesses in the John O'Keefe case who continue to be relentlessly harassed and defamed. Now is the time. Click to read more. Take action here. I'll say how you can help. Donate. Share this campaign. Stand up for truth. Together we will ensure courage is never punished and integrity never destroyed. How are you planning on doing that? Stand up for truth. Well, what do you mean stand up for truth? Do you mean go on X and state your opinion? What is stand up for truth? Exactly. So donate, share this campaign, and then stand up for truth. Like on social media, in person, go to the courthouse. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that. As our vision, as we continue this work, our long-term goal is to establish a foundation dedicated to rebuilding faith and justice and supporting the people who work every day to keep the system honest. Who are those people? I have no idea who you're talking about. Who are the people who keep the system honest? I mean, there are some cool people who work in the justice system, but I don't know who you're talking about that keeps the system honest. Who's that? The mission will guide the creation of that foundation and will remain everything at the heart of everything we do. Kind of vague. Is this about Karen Read, or is this about other cases, or is this people who've helped in this case? Why we formed this movement, this mission. See how much about the movement and not about the witnesses? I want to hear about the witnesses being harassed by psychopathic murderer Karen Read and her flying monkeys and her compliant and complicit press. The mission began during one of the most publicized trials in Massachusetts where witnesses were relentlessly harassed. Which trial was that? The Karen Read trial. Why not say it? Why aren't you calling it out? This ordeal revealed a dangerous gap in our justice system. No, it didn't. It revealed that we have criminal lawyers willing to run an innocence fraud campaign pre-trial, which has been going on for quite some time. Apparently it happens in Chicago every day, according to Martin Pribe, great Martin Pribe, that showed a pattern of intimidation and defamation that has been a weapon of defense strategy in American courts. Where else? In what other case? This is the first time I've seen it pre-trial like this, intimidating witnesses, going to their straight up screaming at them that they're cop killers. But this movement isn't about one case. Why not? Why isn't it about one case? Seems like it should be about one case, the Karen Read case. Why are you making a movement that is so vague and so weird, going off in weird directions? Across the nation, witness intimidation, coordination, reputation warfare has been fueled by social media, twisting public opinion to hide the facts and defeat the truth. Yeah, you're talking about innocence fraud. Nobody wants to use the word innocence fraud here. Why not? Our mission to protect and empower witnesses and victims of crimes who face retaliation, harassment, and defamation for fulfilling their civic duty. Where else is this happening? Why do you think that this is worthy of starting a group if there's not one other example of this happening in any other state or case? I'm so confused by it. And these talking points back to this.
And we want to do things, but none of us are really out there trying to become big YouTubers or anything. But you know what? It's necessary. And so.
Why not? Why aren't you trying to become a big YouTuber? Don't you want to have the biggest audience possible? Don't you want to have the biggest impact on our culture as possible? Don't you want to propagandize the American public with the truth? Why don't you want to have a big YouTube channel?
Have grace for us while we learn to use the things we need to use to be able to bring this community together. And
if you guys knew how many times the four of us talk about doing this, it would actually be embarrassing. It would be embarrassing. So
just over a year. It's only been a year in the making.
And so they're saying they talk all the time about doing this, and then when they do it, they think they don't seem to be in the wrong format. To my eye, they seem to be in the right format, unless they changed it, unless they took it down and re-uploaded it. But it doesn't seem like it because it's still in the live section. So they just did fine. What is all this insecurity around? We don't know what we're doing. Come on, girls, we don't know. We're just amateurs here. Don't take us seriously. Why so self-defeating?
But it's hard, right, to put yourself out like this. I mean, especially in this case. I mean, we know what's coming, right? They're gonna pause our faces.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, Carrie. I hear you. It's not fun. It's not fun to be called, what am I called? Geriatric. Geriatric. Boomer. They're aging me by like, it's not even a decade between me and Aidan Turtleboy Kearney, but okay. Okay. I mean, you know, it's nothing I can do anything about. It's not like I can switch the time clock and start getting younger.
When we, look ugly and they're going to post it all over Twitter. But you know what? Like Tuesday just said, it's more than necessary. It's time and it's
that's the cost we have to pay, like, so be it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus everyone thinks
that's the cost we have to pay. So be it. They seem really worried about the pushback. Just go balls out hard against this freaking Innocence fraud campaign. What is this dilly-dallying nonsense, gobbledygook nonsense from this group? You're going up against a murderer, a psychopathic murderer, and her totally evil criminal lawyers. You think you can win by being like, oh, yeah, it's just, we're going to put out the evidence, but not today. Yeah, I know Karen, my friend Karen, says sunlight's the best disinfectant. Not the psychopathic murderer Karen Reed claims sunlight's the best disinfectant, yet she hid from it, never testified in her own behalf. And I know the jury can't disparage her for that, but I can.
thinks that Jam Jams looks like Kourtney Kardashian. Is what I'm reading.
That is so funny because everybody says I talk like a Kardashian, which.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
That is not something to be proud of. Kim Kardashian's the biggest innocence fraudster. Celebrity, probably the biggest innocence fraudster celebrity. Maybe Joe Rogan outdoes her. But those two, Joe Rogan and Kim Kardashian, are the number one celebrities pushing innocence fraud in America. And you're here representing victims and witnesses and victims' families, witnesses, harassed witnesses. You're delighted that you sound like the fraudster Kardashians, really?
All right.
That's sweet, though.
Okay, so while we have you guys here, we are going to touch on a few kind of current topics. This isn't going to be a long stream, but we did want to kind of kick things off a little bit. So Julie is going to...
I mean, Kim Kardashian supported two clients of the Innocence Project, Julius Jones and Purvis Payne. The Innocence Project said, we can really prove that these people are innocent. We just need to test do more DNA testing. We need to test the bandana, Julius Jones case, and in Purvis Payne's case, killed a mama and tried to kill her 2 babies, killed the little girl. The boy had to hold his intestines all the way to the hospital, but lived. We just have to test his DNA on the handle of the knife. It came back. Lo and behold, it comes back with Purvis Payne's DNA on the handle of the knife. Julius Jones's DNA is found on the bandana. Did the Innocence Project walk away? No, they didn't. They just doubled down on Innocence. Ditto Kim Kardashian. So this it's not about, facts here. They just want these killers out. Come hook or by crook. Mostly by crook.
Cover some of the things that have been going on regarding the filings and legal stuff.
Yep. So in September, at the end of September, I think it was September 22nd, we saw Damian Siegelson, I think that's how you pronounce his name, stand up in court and rather theatrically at that civil hearing, talk about how Karen was planning to join additional people to the wrongful death suit. So she was going to have a counterclaim. She named, and you guys helped me with this, it was Brian Tully, Proctor. So basically MSP, CPD, and then Brian and Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe and Matt McCabe, and Brian Higgins. And so she was going to add them to the wrongful death suit. And so we really didn't hear anything about that for quite a long time. And civil is a little bit different than criminal. So basically what happens, and I may be using the wrong terminology, so if you're an attorney out there, please correct me, please send me a message. But basically what happens is the parties serve each other motions. And a lot of things have a tendency to get worked out behind the scenes before they hit the docket. So from, and then once it's agreed upon, they file that as a package, and that's when you see it on that civil docket. So basically what happened from the end of September until mid-November is we really didn't hear anything about that, right? So there were things going on behind the scenes. And then on Monday, 11/17, Karen Reed comes out and she files her own action in Bristol County. So she files a civil rights action in Bristol County on Monday, 11/17, and she is suing Brian Tully, Yuri Buchanan, Michael Proctor. Essentially, you have to serve the individuals and then you can serve MSP and CPD, as well as Brian, Albert, Nicole Albert.
And a bunch of lists as long as your name, all ridiculous. All ridiculous. People who strangely didn't have a broken, smashed smithereens taillight that weren't going around saying, I hit John. I mean, it's almost like they're legitimizing this ridiculous lawsuit of Karen Reed.
Bird, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe, and Brian Higgins. So she is suing them all for civil rights violations. And so then at that point, then the witnesses can answer. And they did answer after about a week. We all saw it the Wednesday.
So Julie Carpenter's coming in strong here. Just with the information, well-spoken. But, like, it seems like she's giving it legitimacy. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke. Julie, you can say it's a joke. It's a joke.
Day before Thanksgiving, and they are going to move it to federal court. So the great thing about federal court is that there is
something Karen Reed has always wanted to do, move her case to federal court. Strangely, she has confidence that she can manipulate federal court. I have covered 3 federal trials. The only difference I've seen in federal court, I mean, there's some differences, but the big difference is just the quality of the judges. But we're in blue Massachusetts, so crap judges are everywhere. I'm convinced Karen Reed can do it. Everyone's like, no, the facts. See, this is where we got trial 1 and trial 2. No, the jury's going to go with the facts and convict Karen Reed any minute. Not if they've been touched by the Innocence Fraud campaign. And ditto, still have the same kind of jury in federal court. If you have a propagandized jury, that's it for the witnesses, because they all did talk to each other behind the scenes because people talk. It wasn't a conspiracy, but I'm sure Karen Reed can make it look like that. Put everyone's text messages out into the public domain. Put the stuff that's not in the public domain out in the public domain. Take all the credit for that idea that you want. But I tell you, it's a winning strategy. It's just so frustrating to be begged, like to know this fraud so well and to be begged the first trial to be begged to be listened to. Second trial, begged to be listened to. Third, now we're into the civil trial and everyone's ignoring what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I know this con. This is something I know.
No Alan Jackson show. There's nothing for the cameras.
And I have offered to talk to people back behind the scenes about innocence fraud, educate them, show them where to go, where to look, how to look at these cases, how to understand this phenomenon. But nobody wants to take me up on it behind the scenes, strangely. Odd, huh? They all think they know, you think? I don't know.
It is very serious. It is the truth. And so we're all very excited. I think you guys are excited about that. I'm excited about it. I think for the first time, we're not going to have this circus and this dog and pony show and these carnival barkers with just the ridiculous.
Okay, so their point is that there's no cameras in the courthouse in federal court. Not necessary when she's got like a whole YouTube staple to propagandize the public. It's definitely falling apart. It's definitely not as strong as it was during her trial. But she's got them. She's still got Melanie Little. She's still got, JFK show. All right, I think that's all I can take for today. Maybe we'll go over more of it tomorrow, but if you guys are interested, I know it doesn't make me popular, but the truth's got to get out there. This is how we lose with this stuff. Because it's not a true narrative they're going with. Do I believe that all these people deeply believe in witnesses, the concept of witnesses so much? No, they're horrified because they've watched Karen Reed turn people who were just helping out what they thought was a friend. They didn't know she's a psychopathic murderer. They all got fooled by Karen Reed. That would be important to put out there. And they were all turned into killers and terrible people and conspirators by the psychopathic murderer and her innocence fraud flying monkey, Aidan Kearney, and everyone else who helped in true crime. The countless amount of channels, loophole lawyer, you could just go on and on and on. So, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. I feel very, I hope it goes well, but good luck with this technique, this very soft and gentle technique. I think there's a lot of problems going this route. Just talk about Karen Reed's behavior and what she did to these witnesses. I don't want to hear about the grandiose things that you're going to do on other cases. I don't really care about other cases. I care about the Karen Reed witnesses, what happened to them. And if they're going to talk now. Get them to talk now. This was another huge mistake that everyone shut up. I felt the O'Keefe family should have done interviews as a family. Because when victims' families members get together and speak together as a group, it's so powerful. I love watching them all turn on each other. Yeah, they are all turning on each other, but they're still supporting Karen at the Karen Reed, the killer, at the end of it all. So that's what I have for today, guys. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this episode. I will be back again tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So have a great night, everyone.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment, I'll avoid prison. It was snowing, I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim.